time has come to conquer our last remaining frontiers and lead the resistance to victory on all fronts.
Titanfall 2 is just around the corner. We got a little taste of the open beta that was only on PS4 and Xbox One. Scott, you got to play on PC.
I did.
And you got to see the 3 new Titans. Well, 4, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, actually, yeah, so finally got to play all 6. Like, there's 6 total Titans going to appear in multiplayer. Got a chance to play all of them on PC in 1440. It's beautiful. It was so nice to get to see all of this content that we knew was going to be there, but we hadn't previously had a chance to actually play and explore.
So first off, there's Ronan, which was revealed at E3, but you know, no one's actually played him.
Yeah. And he actually might be my favorite of the bunch, to be completely honest. Like, what's really cool about the Titans is each one very clearly fills a specific role. I mean, not only do they each have different abilities, they all have different amounts of health, different movement speeds, they all treat melee differently. So in Ronan's case, it is the, like, if you're an aggressive player, if you like getting in people's faces, this is absolutely your character for sure. So he's the sword core, so like his ultra is basically like he pulls out this katana and you can just run around with hyperspeed. Kind of, not totally dissimilar to Hunters in Destiny. You can just kind of like go nuts and run around and just slice everybody up. It's awesome. But even just Ronan's basic melee is a sword attack, so it kind of looks cooler and has a little bit more range than some of the other melee attacks from the other Titans.
Great.
In addition to his sword ultra, he also has a sort of phase shift ability,
right,
where he just like blinks out of existence for a minute and then pops up somewhere else. And when you're actually playing as him, that kind of looks like your world goes black and white, all the enemies disappear, but you can still kind of see the environment. So you don't necessarily know where your enemies are, but you can kind of maneuver through the environment just for a few seconds and then pop back into like the same reality as everybody else. So you can kind of use that as an escape mechanic. Like if you're in too deep, if you're up too close and you realize you're about to explode, you can kind of just phase shift and leave our plane of existence and therefore not be damaged at all and run away. But you can also use it to kind of stealth and sneak up on people, because it's actually almost more effective than cloaking, because no one can see you. You like are just completely not there.
Jeez.
The trade-off is you also can't necessarily see them, but if someone's like kind of planted or camped, you can just, you know, sneak up right behind them and shove a sword through them. It's awesome. And the shotgun is really useful as well. It's like 3 shots, then you reload, and you can actually do a lot of damage with it.
Cool. So he is your close quarters guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then sort of the opposite, actually, I think, is the Titan that you mentioned or you're most excited about, which is North Star.
Yeah.
His default weapon is essentially a sniper rifle, which is really interesting for a Titan, because you think of the Titans as being like, you know, they can sustain so much damage, you kind of want to be in the middle of battle. But for North Star, most of his abilities are designed to like play the spacing game, play the range game, and keep yourself distanced from your opponents. So yeah, so he's got a basic sniper rifle. His ultra is like, he basically hovers in the air and rains down like a barrage of missiles, which you can kind of aim a little bit. You don't have a ton of control. Like once you unleash it, it's kind of just going. So you have to position yourself well before you trigger it.
Almost reminds me of like Pharah from Overwatch.
Totally,
yeah.
Totally fair comparison. It's very similar, but like, you know, giant robot instead. And North Star also has a sort of VTOL, vertical takeoff and landing ability, which essentially allows North Star to jump. So you can actually maneuver over obstacles that no other Titan can. Most of the Titans are locked to the ground, and you have to just maneuver through environments in a particular way, finding paths that are open to you. Not always the case with North Star. There are certain walls that you can actually clear, and you can sort of traverse across parts of levels in a much more direct manner than you can with other Titans.
So that's wild, because I do know in maps that were in the open beta, such as Boomtown, there are strict areas that a Titan cannot get to. North Star would be the only one that can get over these walls.
Yeah, exactly.
That's wild. So, like, what about, like, getting on top of rooftops? Like, what's the height on North Star?
Not super high. See, that's the thing. You can't, it's not like, oh, you can fly. Like, no. Like, you can kind of, like, slowly, clumsily lift off the ground. And it's only for a short period of time. But, hey, that's more than most of the other Titans, any of the other Titans can do. So you do have more mobility. It's not like, you know, carte blanche to just like, I can fly to the top of buildings. Like, it doesn't work like that. But you are able to do more than you can in any of the other Titans. And he also has like a shoulder-mounted rocket that's like that recharges over time.
Okay.
It's not as powerful, but it's serves kind of that same purpose. If you want like a slightly heavier punch, or if someone gets in too close, you can kind of target and take out multiple enemies at a closer range.
Cool.
So yeah, he's got kind of a little bit of mid-range to complement his longer distance.
Moving on, there's Tone.
Tone is all about kind of like lock-on abilities, which is really interesting. He actually has some homing missiles that are really fun to watch. Like if you actually lock on to somebody, like the reticle glows red and you see it kind of like blink and you know you're locked on, you can fire missiles like around corners and watch them go up an arc and like maneuver around a corner to get your target, which is really satisfying to like see the rockets curve and then an explosion up over a building or something and know that you hit your target. It's really cool.
Well, that's really neat because, having played that open beta, someone like Ion who has that laser beam, a lot of times, you're kind of giving a fair warning that you're about to unleash this weapon on someone, and that can give them time to hop around behind like a wall or
just
whatever
get the
it
hell
is.
out of the way.
So this is kind of the counter to that, right? Like being able to just circumvent someone's...
If someone's running away, if you're playing Ronin, for instance, you have a higher movement speed and you're like dodging and like boosting away and getting out of the way, Tone is a great countermeasure for that because he can get you even if you've maneuvered behind cover.
Right.
That's another really interesting, just kind of overall observation. It's really cool to see all 6 Titans available for play and to see how they interact with each other. And the fact that you can switch on the fly really allows you to adapt to what the other team is doing, because I would say that certain matchups you have a bit more of an advantage than others. For example, like if you are a Ronin versus a North Star on a bigger open map, like North Star totally has the advantage, so you can just snipe Ronin before he's ever able to get up close. But on a tighter, denser map, like one of the new maps I got to see, which was like a very dense urban desert kind of city, there aren't as many direct lines of sight, so North Star has a little bit less of an advantage, and Ronin can get in and really do a lot of damage because it's much more close quarters. So it's interesting to see those matchups and to see how all the different Titans complement each other. And yeah, so to circle back to Tone, he doesn't have quite a sniper rifle, but he's got like a sort of tactical marksman rifle sort of thing. So there's a little bit of zoom and like a more focused reticle. Each shot does a lot of damage, so he's a really good all-around choice of like he's a really good mix of mobility and health and damage. So probably a safe choice for anybody starting out. I'm trying to remember what his other abilities are. So again, he's all about lock, and I believe he also has the sonar ability similar to one of the pilot tactical loadouts, where like there's a certain tactical for pilots. You can throw a little throwing star, and it emits a sonar pulse that reveals nearby enemies.
Right.
Tone has a very similar ability.
Claim the bounty.
And then the last one here, Legion.
Yes.
He's kind of like the Gatling gun, heavy ammo.
Yeah. He's
rocker.
full-on damage tank guy.
Yeah.
He's probably the most devastating in terms of just attack abilities, because he's got this minigun. What's really interesting about him is one of his abilities is actually just to shift between close and long range firing modes. So you can switch to like a long range focused cone of fire on the minigun, so you can be firing like a straight line and just like hammering every single bullet into a mid to distant target. But you can also switch that then to a more of a burst fire mode, and then it creates sort of like a wall of bullets that somebody is then like walking into.
That's what I'm talking about.
He almost reminds me a little bit of Scorch, in that for a mode like Bounty Hunt, which is solely based on just raking up grunt kills.
Yeah.
Scorch was great for basically just doing a lot of AoE on like those drop areas, and this seems like the same case. Just like
you just
hellfire
hose the ground down, like get all those grunts. Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
He also has like a shield that appears over the minigun, so it's not quite like Scorch's full-on flame shield, but it offers a little bit of protection against whoever you're firing at. So in a Titan-on-Titan battle, you throw up this like sort of mini shield that appears in front of your minigun, and it absorbs at least some of the direct fire that's coming at you.
Excellent.
Yeah, so it's a nice like defensive consideration. Again, one of the things I appreciate about the Titans as a whole, there are more considerations than just attacks. Like each Titan sort of has a traversal skill of some kind and a more defensive-minded skill of some kind. It's not just about weapons, which was really cool that there are sort of different reasons to play different Titans, beyond just whatever their primary attack is.
The systems are yours. We are stronger united.
Well, thank you, Scott, for a nice rundown on the new Titans. And thank you guys for watching. We have a second parter on the multiplayer as a whole. So new modes, new customization options, new abilities. So you can check that out on GameSpot. Thanks for watching.